Think I'm perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. It's just perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm perfect. Perfect.
Welcome back. As always, stuff in the back is in the back. Restrooms don't change location. You guys know who I am. Today we're going to be covering Politics of the Vanduul. Section is titled Politics of a Predator. Let's go ahead and log into our MobiGlass. If you're remote, please review the introduction video before continuing with this one. Everybody ready? Here we go. While no extensive study can be performed on the Vanduul and their politics, don't even know where their homeworld is, we can ascertain in certain bits from the interactions and the few examples we have. Shortly after 2681, Dr. Arlo Gillis released a study on the Vanduul society. This study used footage of the event and the unique glyphs found on the various ships therein. Clan theory, as his study is titled, posits that the Vanduul organized themselves in autonomous fleets and groups, much like clans. As time went, the theory became more and more salient, and was further refined after the discovery of the X-12. Between interactions, a few bodies, and the genetic study on the Vanduul bodies found on the X-12, which was a Goran horde, a UE designation for the horde, revealed some interesting things. The first thing that we know is that all Vanduul that we've encountered are male. They're not women. We have found no children. Military-aged males are the only ones that we've encountered. The second thing that we've gained is through genetic sampling. None of the same members of that one ship were related. Now our sample size is still limited, so this can mean anything, but it leads us to believe that these are hordes and they're not clans. Clan implies a genetic lineage, a genetic trait, and the horde, well, that's a group. We'll get more into that when we get into society. Further study at their actions and the way that they approach combat itself tells us that the hordes are based on meritocratic ideas. This is where one position rises with one's contributions to whatever efforts. In this case, it would be the raiding and scavenging. If we wanted to break down the horde structure further, we can find that over top of them, there is the horde commander. He's in charge of all ships, and if the horde is large enough, a kingship. After that, we have raid commanders. These are like his lieutenants. For large-scale raids, like we saw during 2681, the commander of that raid would be a raid commander. He would be next to the horde commander. Then we have scout commanders. These are light scouts that may or may not include a smaller harvesting ship that go out and they probe the area to find out what's out there. From there we go to ship commanders. These only apply to multi-crew ships, anything bigger than a glaive. Finally, we get down to the individual Vanduul. And it's important to note that the individual Vanduul is in the command structure, because once we get down to this level, it doesn't matter who or what you are in the Vanduul society. It seems that all Vanduul compete for kills, and they compete for resources and resource gathering. However, they do not enact violence on each other. Maybe, a wing brush, or even maybe a disciplinarian style, but not like humans do. They don't go to war with each other. This militant structure is commensurate with their aggressive nature that we have encountered. The information we have is more of what we don't find than what we do find. We don't find women and children. We don't find a cohesive command over any of the hordes. We don't know if they have a home planet, let alone where it is. With the exception of a few war camps, no permanent settlement has ever been found for the Vanduul. And finally, We don't see any genetic links among Horde members, not commensurate with a family linking. This, combined with what we have observed and can know, leads us to believe that this is not the primary government of the Vanduul. Right now, we see a secondary government and political system being set up at the source location and other permanent settlements. We believe that the purpose of the Hordes, and the structure of the Horde itself, is 1, to facilitate resource collection, and 2, to provide a measure in which to select future leaders in hierarchy. The more Vanduul collects, the faster he rises in the Horde, until he becomes a Horde commander. Once there, he's competing with other Horde commanders. They do this until, at least the theory says, that a new leader on their homeworld is chosen. That's the working theory anyway. What we do know is that with the Hordes being isolated structures, rarely working together, there is no universal diplomatic channel we can go through to sue for peace. As it has never been observed, we cannot believe that Hordes commit battle against one another. This leaves out the option of division through internal conflict. All Vanduul encountered are to be considered hostile and aggressive, and their scavenging in Horde structure makes it so. That structure drives their decisions. Acquisition. The more they acquire, the better the position they attain. This is why we counsel not to attempt peaceful contact with the Vanduul. They don't measure you in possible gains, but actual gains. What they can visibly see, what they can take right now, what is real, at least to them. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that it is possible a very gutsy and enterprising explorer, if they could find the homeworld, and they could speak or at least have an interest in what this leadership is, we may be able to sue for peace through them. Though this is not for the faint of heart. If there is a homeworld, it's deep within the Vanduul territory. So that's Vanduul politics, what we know of it, more like lack thereof. Before we get up, I got a couple of admin notes. First of all, I was asked to put out that the United Earth Navy Intelligence, the Advocacy, and this office are always seeking information on the Vanduul. Please speak with a representative for quality-based reimbursement. As for now, the community rec room is off limits, till further notice. You can go ahead and thank one of your buddies for setting off the Vanduul Marshake. Transmissions are restricted to UE secured lines for 24 hours. No further info will be given on this, so don't ask. And that looks like it. Alright, so we're going to reconvene after our break. We're going to go over the Society of the Vanduul. You guys, go ahead and take 15 minutes. No smoking. It's a space station. That'd be stupid. Go ahead and get a cup of coffee. Chit chat. Do what you gotta do.